Vintage Air installation of the aftermarket system. So here's the aftermarket parallel flow condenser. Here's the receiver dryer. Everything is bypassed just for working right now. You can see it's a clear sight. They call for 1.8 pounds. I put in 1.8 pounds. We have it at 1700 RPMs. And on their systems, in their literature, it tells you that your low side pressure should be about 12 PSI. Yes, you did not hear me incorrectly. 12 PSI is normal for this system. No other car is like this. Only old Mercedes and old cars. But all the modern cars would be somewhere around 21 to 31 or 34 PSI. That's kind of a normal average, some higher. But 12 PSI on this car is normal. Here's the high side for this car. It's a fixed piston Sandin compressor, I believe. Or they may have changed it to that other Timco or Taycan. Oh, I see a label. It looks like a Sandin. Yeah, that looks like a Sandin compressor. A little tiny guy. We're coming out at 50 degrees. Now, there's a little bit of heater core blockage here. So what we had before, we had 47, 48, 47 degrees, and we had hose clamps on the heater core right here. We're blocking off the heater core. When we opened up the heater core and let the coolant flow, there's a little bleed by inside the airs, and the temperature went up 2 or 3 degrees by allowing the coolant. The hot coolant is flowing through the heater core and it's leaking by a little bit in the case. It only makes a 2 to 3 degree difference on this one. I've seen cars where sometimes it's stuck wide open and then you have 140 degree air, but your air conditioning will be running just fine, but you have 140 degree coming out of the dash, because hot coolant will always win over air conditioning. All right, that's enough for now. And look at, that's a really high superheat. I personally don't like the way these systems work. Now this is what they do. They put a tiny little number 10 hose on here, and then they have fittings that are almost the internal size on the suction side is almost down to a number 8 almost. And they don't have the real high density parallel flow condenser. What I would do is I would get a condenser off an SUV that has dual air conditioning, and I'd make it fit inside there in place of this condenser to give you better hot weather conditioning. Yeah, and open up, I'd take this up to a little number 12 because the hoses are short. There'd be no problem with oil return. That's about it. I got to get off to the next job now. This is a done deal, and this is normal for a vintage air system using the old style brass expansion valve. And that's another thing. I'd probably change the expansion valve and go to a bigger evaporator on the inside of these. If I could re-engineer a vintage air system, I would modify the system, because this is a black car with black interior. It has sheet metal. He has heat resistant padding on the inside, but he says the floor still gets really hot because you can see he has a modified engine with the exhaust headers, and he changed it from manual to a automatic transmission. And automatic transmissions get really hot because, you know, you have like 14, 19, 21 quarts of hot transmission fluid, and the whole case gets hot under the car, and it radiates up, and everything on this is spray painted black. So I mean, it just loves to absorb heat through the sheet metal and then radiate the heat right into the car on a hot summer day. But at least some air conditioning is better than nothing. Degrees, that's all he gets. I could modify this. I could probably make this thing 39 degrees, no problem. But this is just a vintage air aftermarket kit, and they just kind of make them generic to fit all cars. And what they need me is to redesigned their system so they actually work better. All right, I'll see you guys.